Yeah. Daily driver. Oh, there's a bee! I had a welding machine before I had a TV. So, just been working on stuff my whole life, you know. We didn't have a lot of money growing up, so I saw things I wanted, and I knew the only way I could get it was to build it myself. So, started developing my mechanical skills and welding and machining and hammering stuff and go-karts and dirt bikes and anything I wanted. I knew if I wanted it, I knew the only way I was going to be able to get it was to work for it. So, you know, there's that saying of, it's not bad to be poor, you just got to be good at being poor.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I have another really cool gunsmith interview for you today. You guys seem to really like the last ones that we did. So the gentleman that we're going to be interviewing today, his name's Cody Harris. He owns Weapon Genetics out of Tomball, Texas. We've actually known Cody a little while since, I don't know, 2018 maybe? First met Cody a long time ago where he just sort of showed up at one of our Christmas events and was like, I need power. I need to plug this thing in, and had no idea who this guy was. He plugged in his laser engraver and kind of stole everyone's hearts. He has an unmatched amount of magnetism. He just draws people in. Great attitude, very talented gunsmith, and has a very special story of his background, and his shop has a very special story, and it's looking pretty good. This is one of the coolest gun shops in this area. So without further ado, let me introduce you to Cody Harris of Weapon Genetics.
Well, like you said, my name's Cody Harris. I'm from Tomball, Texas. Really born in Pinehurst, but nobody knows what that is. Born in my house while Dad was on a shrimp boat. And I run Weapon Genetics in Tomball, Texas. We're a small gunsmith shop. I'm really a one-man operation. I do have a couple of guys that help me out. I've got one full-time employee, but we can get into that later. So my dad, my pawpaw, and my uncle were big gun guys, big hunters. My pawpaw was a big hunter, World War II vet. And, you know, so I grew up in a house that had guns everywhere. And, I mean, it was just part of life, you know. We had BB guns, and my mom would always get mad because she'd be washing my clothes, and we'd hear clinking around in the washing machine, and she'd open the washing machine, there'd be 22 bullets and BBs and pellets and stuff. So I grew up around it. You know, we had GI Joes, and we played outside, and I was very fortunate where we lived. Somebody owned 500 acres of woods behind our house. I don't know who, but we felt like we owned it, so we played back there a lot, shot squirrels and hunted. And, you know, we always were, you know, people have been modifying their guns since guns have been around, and I started off doing that very young. We've got a photo I might be able to find, and we can put it in here. It's of me, and I've got a rubber band actuated cap shotgun. And I think I had seen like Terminator 2 or something, so I wanted to modify that shotgun to be like Terminator 2, and I sawed the barrel off and sawed the stock off. And of course, when I sawed the barrel off, it broke the rubber band that was in it. And I'm like 8 years old, right? So I figured out a way to drill and put a screw through there and wrap the rubber band and wrap it back around it so the pump still worked and stuff. And so I've been modifying guns since before I was, you know, around guns. But like you said with the go-kart thing, yeah, I would drive around and I'd find garage sales, especially like divorced women or widowed women. And you'd always pull the garage sale and there'd be like a boxes of ammo out front. Because ammo was always, you know, ammo, you don't hide it. And I'd always ask the people, I'd say, well, where's the gun? You know, women would always say that, oh, I don't know. My husband hid it somewhere in the house. And so I'd say, well, let me look around for it. And I'd always find like a Colt. And I remember at one point I wanted a dirt bike real bad. And this lady had some 45 ammo out front. And so I bought it. And I said, well, where's the gun? And we ended up looking in like an AC vent. And there was a Colt Gold Cup 1911. So I gave her like, I don't know, everything I had. Like, you know, whatever it was I had in my little piggy bank. And brought it home and showed it to Dad. He's like, oh my God, you got to stop buying these guns. You're only 10 years old or whatever. You know? But we took it to a gun show and I sold it. And I got enough money to buy my first dirt bike. I'd find guns at garage sales and stuff that were rusted and beat up and sportsterized and missing parts, and kind of cobble things together and sell them and buy dirt bikes and go-karts and other guns and ammo. And so I built this when I was like probably 10 years old. I wanted a Thompson so bad. I think Road to Perdition or something had come out, or I was watching the one with Kevin Costner, Untouchables. I wanted a Thompson so bad. So I drove my dirt bike up to Carter's Country, and they had a semi-auto Thompson, and I traced out the grips of that Thompson, and I cut them out of a 2x6. And then I welded a frame together, And I think Pro Mag had just come out with their drum for the 1022s that didn't work. But I had one of the drums, and I was like, "This is."
Oh, it's a 1022.
Yeah, it's a 1022,
Oh,
and it's got wood screws holding it together. But I keep this around as like this is where I got my start. I was doing weird stuff like this before anybody else was. I took it to a gun show, and I would go to gun shows because I didn't have any money to buy anything, but I wanted to show off my little projects. And I remember a guy seeing that, and he picked it up and he looked it over, and it was like a year later I showed up at the gun show, and he's got a whole row of these. So, it's a day late, dollar short mentality. But, I was onto something. I was maybe 14 years old, and I'm welding this stuff together. And, don't look inside there. Those stick welds are not super great, but it looks good from the outside, right? So I started Weapon Genetics, and the name kind of comes from, a couple of different things. One, obviously, there's a chemistry side and biology side of that. But also, weapons are in all of our genetics. One of the earliest recorded documented things in history is, in the Bible, the killing of, Cain and Abel with a stone. So we all have the right to self-defense inside of us. And the way I wanted to look at it was if I'm going to build bolt guns, the life of your rifle starts with us. And, that's that genetics, weapon genetics, and the idea that everybody has the right to self-defense. Our Constitution, Second Amendment goes all the way back to Germanic times. And you have the right to defend yourself with whatever capability you have. And like I said, as a kid, I didn't have a lot of money, and I wanted to have these cool guns. And that's why I started building them. And then it came to a point where I was like, well, I want everybody to have access to these cool guns. Maybe I can build them cheaper and better than other people so that we all have we all should have access to the equal weaponry, Yeah, so I had an FFL when I was living in my apartment. And I remember I got a call from the apartment manager, and they said, Mr. Harris, we were doing a random inspection, and we went in, and there was a carburetor, some car parts in the sink, and we opened the dishwasher, and there appeared to be firearms in the dishwasher. I was like, it was like a drying rack or something, or maybe an impromptu Cerakote rack or something. I don't remember what I was doing, but eventually I was like, man, I'm throwing money away in this apartment. I'm going to move into my office. I was working at oil and gas. I had an office. So I moved into there, and then this building came up for auction. And so that was about 10 years ago. I got the building and opened up an FFL here. When I got the building, there was no sheetrock, no plumbing, no electrical. I didn't know anything about the place. I bought it at auction, and I moved in from day one with no plumbing, no electricity. And it was actually around this time of year. I moved in October. It's 10 years ago. I think it was December before I had hot water. I had running water a couple weeks later, but it was a cold winter, a lot of cold showers.
When did all this get easy? And that might be a trick question.
It's not easy now.
I didn't think so.
I was just talking with Mario last night from SOF Defense, and we were talking about how it's like, the gunsmithing has almost become the easy part. It's all the other stuff, all the admin stuff, and it's like the more you do, the more you have to deal with in life. And somebody posted a scripture the other day and was like, the wiser you get, I don't know the actual scripture, but it was like the wiser you get, the sadder you can become, because the wiser you get, the more you realize how many problems there are. But then it's the same thing for the more you do, the more you have to deal with. The more types of gun platforms I get into that I work on, the more I have to deal with. So it's never going to get easy. And especially with the way society is and the Amazon mentality, I don't see it getting any easier, especially with our current political climate and whatnot. It's hard with the gun industry. It's hard. Man, I've spent many a nights in here at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'd be at work in 4 or 5 hours on a ladder, doing the sheetrock, spraying the texture, floating, taping. And my wife, or at the time my girlfriend, she's my wife now, she's sitting on a 5-gallon bucket, and she's helping do my taxes for me, or she's doing inventory, or she's helping with paperwork, or 4473s, or she's doing an internal audit to make sure I don't go to jail or lose my license to the ATF, or she's cooking dinner or whatever. There's always something going on, and it's all the little stuff you don't see. Running a gun shop and having inventory and doing the gunsmithing. The gunsmithing is the easy part. It's all the other stuff. It's making sure your customers are happy. It's getting a hold of your customers. Especially since COVID, everything's changed. Getting parts is hard. Getting materials have gone up. Everything's gone up. The side of this industry that I didn't see until recently, like I said, there was a stigmatism for years with Columbine. We had to be quiet about all this stuff. What's changed is the community. And if it wasn't for the AK community and the AR-15 community and the bolt gun community and the hunting and the fishing and the outdoorsmen and the sportsmen and the competitive shooters, we all come together with one thing. It's like car guys. No matter what kind of car you drive, if you've put love and care into that car, people are going to accept you. And the same thing is true for the gun community. And that's what's really motivated me to make this something more, make it a full-time job, is the community. So that's one of the things you learn when you get in this industry is how much fun it is. We got guys hanging out right now watching Lord of War on our shop TV. So, it's raining, it's kind of a slow day, but we have a lot of fun with this industry. And, things like Red October and Kalash Bash and Making Bacon machine gun shoots and Cola Warrior and all these fun things, they bring us all together. And we may only do 3 or 4 of these a year, but it makes all the hardship worth it for just that one thing. But the other thing is, and this is the problem I had when I was a chemist, is that I didn't have any satisfaction at the end of the day of my work day. When I was done at the work day, I couldn't see what I'd created. I'm Larry Potterfield. Townsend Whaling said, only accurate rifles are interesting. Do you remember that? Should I say that? So this is a good example of stuff we do. So we sold this M76 308 rifle to a guy, and he said, it's too long. I don't like getting on a deer stand with it with a can on it. Can you chop it? I said, absolutely. So we took this gun, we pulled the barrel, pulled all the barrel attributes off, cut the barrel back, took off 4 or 6 inches, reprofiled the barrel, moved the sight back, threaded it, and we've conveniently got a little alignment rod in there.
Oh, yeah.
Can you see that? Okay, there you go. Got the dead air titanium nomad on there. So that's a good example of what we do. And a lot of people say, oh, AK barrels are bad or not perfect. We've actually been seeing on the Yugo guns, the barrels are pretty good. But it still takes a specialized skill, and you really have to know what you're doing with barrels and understand barrels and barrel geometry to be able to make it perfect. But anyway, these are cool guns, but that's something we do. We do a lot of barrel threading. This is another good example of what we do. This is a Sega conversion. So this gun started off kind of similar to this guy here, a sportsterized, a sporter style import gun, standard, hunter style stock, rear trigger guard, so on and so forth. And we go through and we cut these for triangle folders, and we do the rivets, and we do the selector markings and the notches and stuff. This is a personal gun that we did, but we do this for customers a lot. This gun's actually fixing to get redone again because we want to make some changes on it. We also do Galil. So we're not just a specialty shop. I'd like to say that we specialize in some things, but there's that saying, jack of all trades, master of none, something, something, something. We work on everything from ARs, and I'm not just an AK guy, I'm an AR guy. I'll tell you, I shoot ARs a lot when I was competitively shooting, which is, when I had time, I did a lot of that. I wish I still did. I'm trying to get back into it. We work on FALs, we work on all sorts of Romies, we work on guns that other gunsmiths have built that were bad. I love these Galils. I think they are so awesome. I love the ambidextrous. This one we've added a side rail to. This one is cut down and pin and welded. We've also modified the gas block to be adjustable. I think the Galils are awesome. They got a lot of character. We can Cerakote these guns and make them look like they just came off the assembly line, but I like all the character. I like the fact that some of them you can tell they've had a gas mask on them or other weird things. I think they're cool guns. This is definitely one of my favorite guns that if you want to build a really cool kit gun, and you've got enough AKs or ARs or SKSs or whatever, look at the Galils. The Galils are really cool. We do a lot of these Romy G battlefield pickups, mainly because I do, as much as I said, we can make them look brand new. I like the character. I like knowing, like this gun, the back of it's all beat up. Some soldier was impatient and he's been using his helmet or his back of his bayonet or something to pound this gun back together. So we like to retain a lot of that character,
Top's got some really cool trench art I saw earlier.
It's got some good art on it. Look at this SKS. Look at this. Come here.
Oh yeah, I've got really good shots.
Look at that. I like all that. I want to keep that gun I'll never shoot that gun. I want to keep it the way it is if I bought that gun.
You'll never run out of lubricant.
Yeah, that's the barrel's full of it. We try to diversify, and that's part of perfecting your trade. You build 100 AKs, are you really challenging yourself at that point? Right now, we've got a set me out in the shop. Not the highest quality gun in the world, but it challenges me a little bit. You got to remember head spacing is different and different barrel pins and all that stuff. And, whether you're doing bolt guns or Uzis or MG42s or RPDs or Winchester Model 12s, it doesn't matter, whatever you're doing. You should always be diversifying and challenging yourself. And as a gun shop, that's what I want to be doing. VZ58s, absolutely love them. I think they're awesome. I think we should do a burn down video on those actually. Czechoslovakian style stuff. This is something that one of my pride and joys I've been working on is the VZ61 receivers. So we've been manufacturing these. Pretty cool. There's one that's all complete. Pretty fun. These are cool little guns. It's a novelty. Mosin Nagant pistol, or not Mosin Nagant, but a Nagant 1895 pistol. We're gonna cut and thread this for suppressor. So we do that as well. At the end of the day, I can see what I've created. It's a tangible thing, it's a physical thing, and it makes you feel good. And there's something about knowing that you did it with your hands, you did it with your own time, with equipment that you wired up, that you learned how to use, you trued up and leveled. There's a lot of satisfaction in that. So there's two different types of satisfaction. When you build a gun for yourself, you have an image in your mind and you get this project and you work on it. You know, you get the satisfaction of the end of the day, it's done. You go to the gun range, people go, dang, where'd you get that? I built it. And even, it doesn't matter if you're assembling an AR. I've done it. I've gone to the gun range with an AR that I built, and people were like, oh, where'd you get it? I'm like, oh, I built it. That's satisfactory. It makes you feel good. At the same time, though, when you do a gun for a customer, you feel good because you look at it, you're like, man, I built that. Oh, man, I kind of don't want to show it. I kind of want to keep this gun because it's pretty badass. But then you send it to the customer, and the customer sends you a text message of him holding it, of his girlfriend holding it, his kids holding it. He's at the range blasting, and customers start putting together music videos with guns that you built. That is like that's the cream of the crop. That is like, oh my gosh. And we don't get it from every customer. But when you do get it, it makes you go, dang, dude, it's 10 o'clock at night. The kids are asleep. I'm going back to the shop because I want that feeling tomorrow.
That's a good point, dude. If I have a normal day job and I bust my ass and get something done, I'll never hear about it.
Nope.
I have no idea where it goes when it leaves that place. But no, that's such a good point. I never thought of that. Like, with Instagram the way it is, and you are very active. In fact, I'm going to put Cody's Instagram here. You should go follow Weapon Genetics.
Weapon Genetics? Oh, no, that's MK3.
It's your MK3 shirt.
There you go.
Dude, they need to do better on making their shirts, dude. That's going to wash right off.
This is a one-of-a-kind. This is a limited edition. That's what makes it so much money is you can only wear it. It's only worth,
So only you have one.
Yeah, only I have one.
But with social media, it is cool. I never thought of it. It is kind of cool going, wow, like, I built that 3 months ago, and here's this dude that he's shooting it with his son, or he just gifted it to someone.
Or he's got a dead animal. He's holding this massive deer, and he's got this freaking rifle. And you're like, yeah, I built that rifle. And they've got the yardage below it. And he's like, took this, and they don't always tag you, but that's okay. You still see it. Like if you notice on my page, I follow almost every person that's following me. At least I try to. You can't follow all of them. Some of them are bots, but when you see that,
and that's called stalking, dude.
Call the ATF, whatever. I don't care. Some of my customers, I follow the crap out of because they do cool stuff. They're out shooting prairie dogs and stuff with AKs. Like, what's not to like about that? That makes you feel good. You know and that's what we do. A portion of building the rifle, like we said, defense, weapon genetics. That rifle may be a part of your life. It defends your life, defends your family's life. When you see them out using that rifle to feed their family or to defend their home or to teach their kids and bring their kids in this industry, man, that is like the best. But it all goes back to that whole thing of I want everybody to have the same guns and experiences that I do. I've been fortunate enough to have, and that's one of the benefits of this. But that doesn't just happen in the gun industry. It can happen in other industries too. Anything that you learn, mechanical and artistic with your hands and your eyes, you use the things that God gave you to create something that, it goes back to that. What's the definition of art? In my opinion, the definition of art is anything that you can appreciate that at least one other person can appreciate. And whether that's a cricket rifle that you threaded a barrel for, or it's a $5,000 race gun you built for somebody, that's an artwork, and you have an appreciation for it, and so does your customer. And that's something that I like to. Lately, I've been scrolling through old photos and old text messages to customers because it motivates me. I see these customers, and sometimes I go back through their pages, and they may not tag me in the photos, but they may have tagged me in the initial photo of their gun. But then I'm seeing 10 or 20 other photos, and that gun's in the background, or they're sitting in a deer stand, and they've got an AK that's Khyber Pass style, and they're hunting deer with it. Like, that's a good feeling. There's not many other things you can do in life that will replicate that feeling. This isn't all of them, but we have a pretty good inventory of firearms. Everything from, World War I water-cooled guns to German Space Magic roller delayed guns. We've got them in everything from 300 blackout, 9mm 308, World War II guns, Thompsons, Stens, Sterlings, Uzis, CZ26s. Gotta have some ghetto blasters in there, Believe it or not, we work on these all the time. These guns have headspace issues and break firing pins, and they break the back of them off. A couple of these we've actually threaded to take a threaded end cap because not all of them came that way. So that, protects your lower receiver, your investment. Got some garbage rods stuck down in there. But anyway, FALs, G3s. I really don't like working on G3s, but we will work on them if we have to. Transferable Lewis gun. This gun was actually a movie prop, kind of cool. But we try to keep a good inventory of firearms so that when your firearm comes in, even if it's something really unique, we have a reference we can go back to and use to make sure that we're doing that gun the way that it should be done. And that's all in like a museum quality gun. When it comes to custom guns, it's totally different. So, that's one of the cool things that has happened with the AK world for years. We're all individuals. We're all personal. We're people. We all have our own characterisms and our own, Clayisms or Codyisms. And ARs for a long time would help people represent themselves. Well, the AK world has changed that. JMac and companies like that have come out and they've really allowed people to express themselves through their firearms. And that's one of the coolest things ever, man. I love it when a customer comes in and they say, I want to do this weird thing. I'm fine with it. We've done bright blue guns and guns that were cheetah print and weird stuff like that. But if it represents the customer, I'm all for it. So like this Polish Tantle right here. This kit came in, demilled kit, recreated receiver. I believe this one was an 80%er when we did it because this is a personal gun. But every single component on this gun, from the selectors to the bipod to all the little parts, and you may not be the biggest fan of the color combinations. This is something we came up with. I thought it was a good combo, especially with this really, really cool Bakelite grip. But we Cerakote every single individual component. Because one, that Cerakote does protect the product. It also looks good. But, I want every part, whether it's a part that's going to have wear on it or not, to be Cerakoted, especially here in Houston where we have a lot of humidity.
So was this a parts kit build?
Yeah, this is a parts kit build.
So you do a lot of parts kit build.
We do a lot of parts kits build. And I really, if you've got a really good looking OG kit, especially with OG barrel, I like to build what I would consider a museum quality gun. I want everything fit and finished to be perfect on this. We don't even have assembly grease in this gun. We just want the gun, and we try to take our time on everything, make sure everything fits nice. This was a new manufacturer barrel, so when we, like for instance, when we set our front sight, we set the gap so that when the muzzle device indexes on your pin, it's tight. So little stuff like that we like to do. It does have an ALG trigger in it. Yeah, that's not, really clone correct, but I love the ALG triggers. Whether you're doing a custom gun or a clone gun, the number one connection between a person and their firearm is through the trigger. So give yourself the best option you have there. But at the same time, we like building custom guns. This isn't really a custom gun, but it's a gun we did some modification to.
This is honestly, one of my favorite things that you've done.
Really? Okay.
I've never seen anyone do a triangle conversion to a mini barrel.
We did this 2 days before Kalash Bash. We called Arms of America. We said what we wanted to do. They took care of us. Those guys are awesome over there. They really care about this industry and the Second Amendment. We threw some crazy Cerakote on the gun. I love these big, giant paddle releases. We threw a quick triangle folder on it, and then we made it full auto. This gun has ripped. Man, these guns are awesome. We do build things like Uzis. Yesterday was last day of Hanukkah. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. Uzis are cool. They got a lot of history. I like guns that have history. This gun, it's got some character to it, but we also did re-Cerakote it. But we also build, random custom things. I think shotguns are super underrated. If you're gonna have one gun, make it a shotgun, because you can shoot slugs, buckshot, birdshot. I've got salt shot rounds over there. Little bitty gun, little bitty, short, do-all. This one actually has a door breacher. So our goal was, yes, this is very much like a Serbu Super Shorty. And props to Mark Serbu. That guy has done a lot for this industry. I love him. Obviously, imitation is the best form of flattery, or whatever that saying is. I don't know.
I subscribe to his YouTube channel.
Yeah, I do too. I love his YouTube channel. He's got obscure... I see a lot of myself in him, I'd like to say. He's made obscure little open bolt machine guns, and you've seen some of my little custom things.
He's just better looking, that's all.
That's all right. A really common thing we do in our shop is Draco conversions.
Crime gun.
Crime gun. We get a lot of Dracos in. This is a perfect example of, we didn't have to re-Cerakote the gun. Customer just wanted underfolder stock. We drilled the rear trunnion, popped it in, did the laser engraving. We do a lot of this kind of work. This is a real common thing we do. We try to hand fit all of our stock components. If they don't fit right, we actually weld onto the stock components so that they stay solid. Cool little gun. This thing is, in my personal opinion, the Draco might be one of the most efficient 7.62 guns that you can buy.
100%.
12.5-inch barrel burns up all of your powder in 7.62 by 39. You got a chrome lined chamber and bore. I know that's not what this video is about, but that's my little Draco rant. Draco. I love these things. I think they're awesome. And if you don't have an underfolder in your collection, you should get one. Whether it's a Draco or if you want to be the highest, get you a Polish underfolder kit. I love them. I've got a few of them left. Some of them are.
I know a guy with one with an OG barrel, and I'm trying to get him to have you build it. My uncle.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's because I've got one.
No, my uncle has an OG barrel he just came into, and he's like, do you know a guy? I'm like, I might.
Man, I love the Polish guns. The wood is so beautiful on them. Segas, we do a lot of Segas. Whether you want an AK-100 series or you want to do something custom, here's the deal. The Segas are really good guns. I think the quality of the Segas are excellent. They're not coming to the country anymore. This is a perfect example. You can have a museum quality clone correct gun, or if you want, personalize it to you. You want to put a JMac rail on it, do it. You want an adjustable gas block, do it. Do what you want to do. The gun represents you. It's part of you. That's part of weapon genetics. It's what's inside of you. Whether you want a clone correct perfect gun like this guy, oh, there's something so nice about that little going all the way down and getting that middle section there. Anyway, the only other thing that is a customer that I would do, always ALG, but man, it's hard to beat a Sega. The Segas are cool. They're not coming to the country anymore. But there's a lot of work that goes into this, guys. There's a lot of welding. There's a lot of fitting. You know, we can't really get the Bulgarian and Russian true components anymore, so we're using other companies' stuff, American-made stuff, but it is what it is. You know, it's times are changing, and we have to adjust to those changing times. Oh, the Gunner Rambo. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys checking out this video. Big shout out to Clay. Clay, thank you for putting this video together. If you've been a current customer, we really appreciate everything you've done for us because we wouldn't be here without you. But I want to leave you with this. It doesn't matter what you do in life. If you're the best at what you do, you're going to be successful. Whether you're a garbage man, a gunsmith, a dentist, take pride in your work. Know that what you're doing is benefiting somebody else, benefiting you and your family. You know, we always say we're all here to do one thing, and that's to make money. But for us in this industry, it's not just about making the money. It's about providing the customer with something that is going to last them a lifetime. And hopefully they give on to their children, because that's what I'm going to do with my guns. I'm going to give them to my kids someday. And hopefully they use them to provide for their families, protect their families, and so on and so forth. If you're ever in Houston or the North Houston area, Tomball area, and you need a place to stay, something to eat, come check us out. Hit us up, Weapon Genetics, Tomball, Texas. We're always here. I literally live next to the shop. That's how dedicated we are to this. But I do appreciate all of our current customers and future customers. Guys, like I said, it's a hard world out there, but find something that you appreciate, whether it's gunsmithing, digging ditches, it doesn't matter. If you take pride in your work and you do the best you can, you're going to be successful. Other than that, I hope to see you guys on the gun range. You guys have a Merry Christmas. Stay safe, all right?
And a Happy New Year, probably.
Probably Happy New Year, too.
All right, thank you. Yeah, get that thing.
Fuck!
I thought that fell out of you. Like, carrying this whole time?
Oh, shit! Stupid Rambo gun. Gun cat. She's vicious, dude. Custom to the tits max. Then I have like a plethora of Uzis. Gotta have the Gangster 5000. AK-47 book. That's the original Larry Vickers AK-47 book. It's way better.